All right, we'll start and finish this chapter this week. But we're not going to do the test on it until we also start and finish chapter 9. Since this only has 2 sections and chapter 9 only has 2 sections, I don't want to give you test after test after test, because then that just increases the likelihood that Baumgartner and I will have tests on the same day for you guys. So we're going to try and at least have 4 topics per test. Topic 9 is going to be kind of weird because it's stuff you've definitely never seen before. 6.1 and 6.2 you've seen before, but we're going to go a little bit more in depth. This is from, well, I guess in a normal year, I can say you guys have seen this before, but this is the end of geometry, where you learn about the law of sines and cosines. So far we have a bunch of rules like the Pythagorean theorem and stuff that works, SOHCAHTOA and all that works for right triangles. And now we're going to talk about oblique triangles. Oblique triangles are just non-right triangles. That's an obtuse, yeah. On the right, that's definitely obtuse. And on the left, it's acute. So a triangle is acute if all of the angles are less than 90 degrees. And it's obtuse if one what's the best way to put it? Whereas one angle greater than 90. Why do we have to say it's only one angle is greater than 90? What if 2 angles were greater than 90? It can't even be a triangle, right? Because then immediately you'd be over 180 degrees on 2 angles, and the third would never connect. What the law of cosines does on Thursday, and technically the law of sines does, is also help us determine if it's a triangle or not. But there's a few things I want to make sure you guys know from geometry, like the, I forgot the name of it. I had it ready. It's the one triangle inequality theorem about the sides. It tells you that the 2 shortest sides added together must be greater than the longest side for it to actually be a triangle. And little tricks like that, because on your test there will be triangles that are not triangles. So, that is the closest thing you're ever going to have to proofs was on the last test. Yeah, well, you guys don't know Miss Schoner, but if she puts a proof on her portion of the test that she's going to teach to block 1, you'll do it. I have an intern in block 1 that is going to teach the dot product, which is going to be 9.4. So it'll be on this test potentially, but
you should tell her for my mental health. Please.
This is really hard to see with this background. Let me delete it really quick. I don't know why I went with such. I think that's what the PowerPoint suggested. Just know that this is just a copy note, but here, instead of using all 3 of these, technically, you do need all 3 of these to solve for a triangle, but the way I'm going to do it is we're just going to break it up and do the problem twice instead of trying to figure it out across the board. So here on the left-hand side, I'm just going to always boil this down to this. And I'm going to write here a known angle over a known side length is equal to, and then on the right hand side I'm either going to have a known or unknown angle or a known and or unknown side length. And if I do it that way, I'm only solving for one variable at a time, and it makes it much easier. So that's what this is trying to show over here. You should only have one unknown on this side, so you should have 3 knowns and 1 unknown if you're going to go the lazy route like Damien said he prefers. If you do it this way, you're not dealing with 3 proportionals things. You're not dealing with sine A, sine B, and sine C. You're only dealing with one at a time, and it does make it a little bit easier to work with. So I put these up for homework to copy them down just so we can get to solving problems, because I think that's the better way to do it. And then get you guys working on the homework before you leave so you can ask me questions about it as we go. in my little blue box there. One of these will always be known and one will always be unknown. If I'm solving for a side length, it'll be on the bottom, my x value. If I'm looking for an angle, I will have inverse sine of x to solve for that angle or the letter that corresponds to it. Corinne, how much longer do you think you need? All right, when Corinne's ready, we'll move to the next one. If you guys already had the notes done, just, add to them, or I'm just going to peek ahead. Okay.
And when I read it, 6.1 and 6.2 are fun, but we had like an actual physical homework for that. So I was like, oh, we didn't learn it yet, so it's fine.
And you ignored it? And you were absent, right? When I gave everyone the heads up about it?
Yeah.
So you're fine, Addison. All right, so we'll get to start on these on the next slide. It is the same exact thing, yeah. No, we'll do 6.2 on Thursday. I don't want to go too fast. I'd rather have time to. All right. I have 3 pieces of known information on the board and 1 unknown, right? And when I draw my proportions, I have 4 places to put information. So what I want to do is look at, Corinne, I've already called on you, so pick somebody for me. Damien, just looking at that triangle, I know 2 of the angles, I know 1 of the sides. Looking at the 2 angles, do I know 1 of their opposite sides already? Was it given to me? Yeah. So which one is that? 5 and 21 are paired, right? These are my known. So on the left-hand side, when I say my 2 knowns go there, it's always the angle and its opposite side for this. So I'm going to have sine of 21, because the angle always goes with my sine, over 5. Damien, pick somebody else. Who is it? Cade? Cade, your answer is a little bit harder. I know 2 of the angles, right? And I know 1 of the sides, and I'm looking for x. Do I know the angle opposite of x?
Yeah.
What's the value for opposite of x? Remember, the opposite means if I look at the angle, the 2 sides that generate the angle, that third side that it creates is opposite. Do I have an opposite? Well, my question, I guess, Kate, is which 2 lines, this is the side I'm looking for, right? Which angle generates that side? The blank one, right? Well, here, this angle is made by this line and this line, meaning it doesn't touch that line at all. So I don't know that angle yet, but can I solve for it?
Yeah.
How would you solve for it?
You add the 2 angles.
Yeah, and then subtract it from 180. So somebody with a calculator, help me out really quick. I just chose a different black marker. I'm going to do 21 minus 67 from 180. What do I get? 88. 92, right? Why would the 2 go up there? All right. Cade, pick somebody to help me with the next step. Who is it?
Alright, fine. Addison.
Addison, now that I know that third angle that wasn't given to me is 92 degrees, I now know the angle that's opposite of this side, right? So what goes in my numerator, the angle or the side length?
If I'm being honest, I think it's angle, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely the angle,
I
yeah.
didn't get a copy it down, so I think it's angle.
Well, yeah, it's angle. So the angles are always going to be on top and the sides will always be on the bottom this way. So I'm going to put sine of 92 since we solved for that. And Addison, what's the length of the side opposite of 92 degrees?
Well, that'd be x.
That's our unknown. Perfect. That's why I prefer this method. It's shorter. You have to set it up twice if you want to do the whole triangle, but it's straight to the point. Addison, pick somebody to tell me how do we handle multiplication when there's an equal sign between my fractions. How would you proceed from here? What would you do? Perfect. Answered the question that I asked you and confused you with. So what I was asking is how do we multiply when there's an equal sign between two fractions? We cross multiply. So this means I now have x times sine 21 is equal to 5 times sine 92. And now I can divide both sides by sine 21. All right, Alina, pick somebody to answer probably the hardest question of the day. Not that it's hard, but where you're most likely going to make a mistake on the test. Corinne. I haven't even asked the question yet. All right, Corinne, you ready? Is my triangle presented to me in degrees or radians? So what mode should my calculator be in? It should always match. If I give you degrees, make your calculator in degrees. So go ahead and set your calculators to degrees and solve for that for me. Corinne, that wasn't that bad, was it?
It was so hard.
I know. I will give you a heads up. Use your parentheses here if you want to ensure order of operations. Put your numerator in parentheses, put your denominator in parentheses. So what you should be doing is, I got these cool posters for $4,000, but if you hit 5 times sine 21 equals, then you can do divided by sine 21, 13.94. Perfect. So much math, right? So then we're going to talk about the most important part in your test. But here, your other option, if you want to be safe every time, is open your parenthesis and do 5 sine 21, close your parenthesis, hit divided by, open your parenthesis, sine 92 on the top, and then divided by sine 21, close parenthesis, and hit equals. Corinne, you get to pick somebody to answer my next question. The despair in that laugh. Alina, which one of these, purple or blue, is my exact answer?
Purple. Because that's the thing it means that you're rounding. So it's not exact.
Yeah, if you see this is my, but this is important to know. Equals means exact and approximate. We'll have that. So, oh my goodness, I can't remember any words. I'm so tired from that drive. What are those called? Approximate. The word I wrote next to it. Sorry. X is approximately 13.94. If you put this in your calculator, who gave me this number? Oh, on your calculator, you had a bunch more numbers, right? If you have to round or stop, then that's your approximate answer. It's not exactly. Exact gives you every decimal value. So on the test, though, every single question next to it says exact answer and approximate answer. So make sure you know the difference between the two. I've already published your homeworks, and on your homeworks in gold I highlighted the exact answers, and in purple I highlighted the approximate answers, so you can see it for every single problem on the homework tonight. Of course, that goes live on Monday, which is another reason why I want to get chapter 9 under our belts before we take the test, so we have more content plus the week of the 6th. So on the board on the left it says writing assignments are due 3/6 at 8 a.m. That's the week we present. That's all we're doing that week.
And do you have to do the math for it? Or,
I still don't understand it.
okay.
Say it again.
I don't understand
Oh, we'll talk about it. Let me finish this and then we'll talk about it. We'll go over the project together as a class. Everyone knows what their topic is though, at least, right?
Yeah.
Are you working alone?
No, I have an idea. Don't worry.
All right, talk to me about your idea after I go over it. There's only been one that I had to determine as let's do something else. Approved is a very loose word for this. But someone said we want to get our dogs together and see how long it will take them to fight.
Oh.
This is not okay.
I think they got voted against in like several elections ago. In dog fighting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're not doing that. Instead, they're going to do their old dog versus their young dog. Which one will race to the food the fastest? All right, so again, on my left, I have the two pieces of information that I started with that I know. On the right, I have one piece of information that I either was given or I can solve for exactly over its unknown part. If I knew that this was 13.94 and this was my x, this would be sine x over 13.94. On your test, on your homework, it says solve for the entire triangle, so you would have to use that information to then find the rest. Always start with what's given to you. Don't go using 13.94 to find the other side. Now we can find the left side by doing sine 21 over 5 is equal to sine 67 over whatever variable you want to call it. Keanu, go for it.
Can't you solve for the entire triangle, every single value of everything,
In one shot?
at least 3 points?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. And that's why on the test it's going to get to that level. But as we introduce it, oh man, I had a whole walkthrough for you. All right. I'm going to erase this. We'll see if we can walk ourselves through it. Next video there, Addison. Yeah, go ahead. All right. So our first question, this is kind of the habit of mine to get into if you want to do these efficiently every time. I know we just did it, but do we have a known angle and its opposite side? Yes. So I'm going to start with my two knowns. Are we looking for an angle or a side? I'm looking for a side. Do we know the angle opposite of the unknown side? No. But we can find it. Oh, I guess yes. And now we would have enough information because we would know this was 92. So my two knowns that I started with go over here. And my new known that I was able to solve for exactly goes here over my unknown. So this is kind of a way to organize it. You'll stop writing it down after a while, but once it's in your mind, this is a pretty efficient way to go right through it. I think on the next slide we should be solving for I skipped a lot, didn't I? Keanu.
Geometry.
Yes, sir.
Label a triangle. We start A as a common point and go clockwise.
Did your geometry teacher tell you there was a special way to do it?
Yes.
Okay. I don't care. You're allowed to do whatever way you want as long as you maintain. All right, Keanu had a really good point that was going to be addressed here in a minute, but let's talk about it right now. And Keanu, actually, I guess now that you said it, my initial thought process is always A at the top or whatever my first part of the alphabet, B, C. I'm okay with you guys changing that order. What I'm going to really be harping on is that once you've chosen your variables and what order they're going to be in, first off, capital letters, and you'll see it in the homework, like this, CL for capital letter, because already you know my C's are going to look the same, capital or lowercase, right? Well, that's capital lowercase. This is C capital. That's why I try and avoid them, but I also don't want to change what's in the book. You'll see me write, this is C capital. Whatever angle this is, the side opposite of it will be the lowercase version of that letter. That's all I care about, is that you correspond these correctly. So here, I can say little a is equal to 5, and little b is equal to y. But yeah, I don't care what letters you use or where you start them, as long as they're opposites or they're lowercase.
And then when we say an angle side, we're going from top clockwise. And
Oh, that's-
like this is an angle side triangle.
This would be an angle side, yes. But you can start anywhere. It's just the rule is you have at least, you can't go more than 2 steps. So if I start here, this is unknown, I have to go to the next piece. If this was unknown, I can't start at A going clockwise. It's all based on that. You were probably given that in geometry because they were always given in that order, so it's easier for you. But it's not always going to be true, right? Because what if I wanted to start here? I can't do this. I can't do that. See, I don't know this, so I can't do that. You don't have to go in order. You can start wherever you want as long as you don't skip 2 parts without finding something of use.
And then by extension, the sign only applies to triangles where we have 2 known angle values.
Say that one more time. Are you talking about when you can use the law of sines?
Yes.
You can use the law of sines. Let's get past this.
If we have at least 2 known angle values. That's
Perfect. Yeah, that's exactly it. The law of sines only works when you have 2 known angles and one side that is either in the angle side or an ASA format. Since we're here now, no, let's not get into that just yet. So we solved for that. All right. Who was called on last? All right, Alina, I'm going to give your group 2 minutes to try and set this up using the law of sines the way I showed you. And then Alina's going to pick somebody at random to come up and try it on the board. And then if they get stuck, they'll be able to ask for help as they go. But see if you guys can set this up. This time we're looking for an angle, so our denominator should be our knowns, and our numerator should have our unknown in it. I said this time we're looking for an angle, right? So our numerator on the right should have our x in it, not our denominator, because we know the sides already. Numerator is angles, denominator is sides. If you want to flip it, you're welcome to, but it doesn't matter since we have proportions here. Oh, that's on the screen.
The opposite side for the angle x is 11.
Mhm.
Can you use that?
Yes, definitely.
And would it be sine of 11?
Sine of the angle only. So it's sine of x over 11. You know. Sine's always in the numerator, and then since x is an angle that we don't know, it'll be sine of x.
And the standard.
Say it again. The angle is in the numerator. The side links are always in the bottom. These are my angles. These are my side links, right? So sine 21 over 5, sine 92 over x. So the angle goes in the top. It's the same setup always. I only change it now because I don't know the angle. If I knew the angle, I would have sine 33 over 6 and sine whatever this is over x if I didn't know the 11. That's what's changed.
This is right, right?
We have sine. Is that 30 or 33?
33.
Oh, okay. I see the over 6 sine x over 11. Yeah, you got it right. Cross multiply it out.
Multiply this like
Yes, ma'am.
that.
And then divide
You
by.
put the 11 in front, right?
I would. Yeah. That's just.
So you put the. Wait, wait, wait.
Is it all over sine of 32?
And then
Divide
divide
by.
by this.
Yep. And there's one last little thing I want to say that I think chapter 4 and 5 we kind of missed. I heard someone else ask, was it? Did you have a question?
Yeah.
What was it?
So how do I multiply all three of these together? Like A, B, and C?
If you wanted to do that, then you would just call this like C and this C, but they would both be unknown. It just sets it up so that you can solve for the whole triangle all in one shot, because you can still cross multiply, but you need more information usually anyway, so we don't. I'd rather break it up, find it, and then make it again.
And then you put that in your calculator?
Almost. Remember, when I'm finding an angle, it's inverse sine. Sine to the -1.
So this is right so far, right?
You have yours over 6? Yeah, you're good.
So then we do inverse sine?
Absolutely. Anytime you want an angle, go inverse. Yeah, go ahead. All right, Addison, did you have a question?
When we get to the part where we're trying to isolate sine of x, should we move roll?
Are you still in a proportion that's a fraction, or did you already cross multiply?
I have 11 times sine of 30, 6 times sine of x.
All right, so sine of x is a whole number, right? Is it, well, not a whole number, but a number. So what am I multiplying sine of x by? 6, right?
Yeah.
So how do I undo multiplication? That's it. So you go sine of 6. Now, there's one thing I'm seeing everybody's kind of missing. Arjun didn't have it written down, but he said it. So let me show you one last thing. Definitely put this in your notes. If I'm looking for an angle, we're going to press second sine to find the angle. That's that inverse operator. So let's set this up and make sure we know how to do it in the calculator. Oh, no, Alina, you get to call somebody up to set it up for us. Who do you want to do? Addison, you've been selected.
I don't actually have my calculator out, but I can like.
No, I just want the setup and like solve all the way down to sine inverse of x by itself. Don't give us the angle measure yet. You get to pick somebody to do that. So Addison's starting off with sine 33 over 6 because those are our two knowns. And on the left-hand side, we put what we know and we're given. And then here we're looking for an angle, so x goes in the top with the sine. And the opposite of the x is 11, so we can draw it out just like that. Addison was asking if we have proofs, and now she's writing a very informal proof by giving us the reasoning behind her steps, so that's nice. Cross multiplying gives us 11 sine 33 is equal to 6 sine x. Since sine of x is a number, she's going to divide by 6. And what does that simplify to, Addison? Perfect.
Wait, do you put like equal to still? Just equal?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're always going to retain that equals until we round for the first time. Don't forget to divide by the left hand by 6 as well. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Now, this is set up almost perfectly. Addison, since we're looking for x to be an angle, I want to do this operator instead, right? Second sine. So when I type this in my calculator, I'm going to open my parentheses, do 11 sine 33, close my parentheses twice because, as you saw here, it opens and then closes there and there. And then I'm going to divide that by 6 and hit equals, and then second sine, and then second negative sign to put the answer in there. Or you can do it in one shot, but you're more likely to make a mistake there.
What do I put in negative?
So did you do the 11 sine 33 divided by 6?
9, 9.
Perfect. So now you hit second sine, and now you have the little inverse sign, right? Now hit second again and the negative button, and it'll bring your answer from before down and put it inside of it for you. Okay. Keanu, what's up?
Why would we need to find H like in the title slide?
I'm going to talk about that at the very for an ambiguous case. It'll away. It'll save you from doing this and finding failure. But you'll do that more when you get to your college pre-calc class. But we'll talk about it. The H just tells us the conditions on whether or not it is not solvable at all, has two solutions, or one solution. Two solutions meaning that extra one they drew on the outside. So when it's an obtuse one, you can draw an acute triangle on the outside. You can solve for that as well. It's all right. So, Alina, what did you get?
86.86.
All right, what did you get? Who else has the angle ready? What did you get?
86.87.
86 point. Just correct answer. This is what the first answer I want on the test. My approximate answer, that's a T and that's no R, was 86.7. Make sure you remember that those are two very different answers and they do each count for their own point. Because I now know you can put it in the calculator to solve for it. Now, with this information, do I have enough info to solve for the rest of the triangle? It's going to be an approximate answer for the last two pieces, but I can do 180 minus this to get this. Then I can use sine of 33 over 6 equals sine of this over that to get my final piece of the puzzle. That's what we're going to do when we practice the homework. But how do we feel about just solving for one piece and moving on right now? Are we okay with this?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Arjun, you look fine, but oh, you're not raising your hand.
So this is the ambiguous case. Where we can use raw signs to find the entire triangle, even though it's a
Per- Yes. I'm going to skip this part. All right. Try this as your group. And then I'll have groups come up at the same time. Through it. See if you guys do it the same way. See if you arrive at the same answers. And then I'll roll the dice from groups. You get your answer.
They don't know if I'm right.
They know that you're right, Keanu.
No, they don't.
I heard there's 4 groups, and I heard 3 of them say you're carrying the class. So why don't you do it on your table? And then hopefully pod 3. So we kind of rearranged our pod 1 is the Alina's pod, pod 2 is Corinne's, pod 3 is Arjun's, and pod 6 is Nina's pod. When I roll the dice, if I call one of those numbers, you know who's coming up. I am going to find my phone. Oh, actually, if you're in the first 2 pods, yes, no, what do you want to solve for? Who cares, right? All right, Alina, which one are you solving for first, B or C? All right, so you do B, and then these 2 pods do C. Little c. I took attendance, so I can't. And then that way we don't even have to roll the dice. Just both groups can come up, then both groups can come up. Hello. You're welcome. Actually, now that I read the directions, when it says to solve the triangle, that means all 6 pieces of information. So that'll work. So you guys are solving for C right now. These 2 groups are solving for B, and those 2 groups, your group and that group, are solving for C. And then we're going to send one person up to the group together. You're doing C one more time, just because, yeah. And this is it here. 25 over 12. And then you did 180 minus those 2 to get that. Then you're
It's just 60 over x.
60 over x, 25 over 12. Yeah, that's right. Cross multiply, isolate it, and you're good to go. Good morning, Eva. I'll take that. All right, they're working together. They'll. So right now, you guys are just solving for B. We started with the law of sines. We'll have a few more examples coming up, and then we'll have homework time so I can work with you. Let me update that.
End of x over 12. Like,
You're solving for B?
yeah.
So what are your 2 knowns that I gave you?
25 and 60.
We want the angle and its opposite side that are known.
So 25 and 12.
Yep, so it's going to be sine 25 over 12. And you're solving for b. So it's going to be sine 60 over b.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You are welcome. Yeah, we're about to be done with this, and then I'm going to call everyone up to just have a chance to turn them in. Because I know that was an unconventional approach. Yeah. On the test day, I said you have homework. It's all good, though. Target. All right, do any of my groups need another minute to finish? All right. Group 1, who's going to come up for your team? And Addison or Corinne, who's coming up for yours?
We're almost at the end there, so.
Okay, we'll give you another second. Go ahead and decide who's coming up while Addison wraps it up with Corinne. And then we will have each team submit somebody to come on up. Yep. If you're solving for B, go ahead and send your representative up. C will have you come up next. Then you get to check everybody's work. Oh, did I not leave you guys markers? They're on the filing cabinet hanging off the edge. Oh, I gave Keanu my marker. Say it again.
How does this look? That's
So
not
yours.
even-
The only thing is weird, right? Is it a decimal?
This is the for what though?
That's for the side length opposite of C. Is it longer than 12? Is C
Yeah.
greater than 12? Then you did it right because that has to be the longest side, right?
Oh, okay.
You're most likely to right. Check your work when they get it up there. When you, Addison, you're going to explain Ella's work, and Ella, you'll explain Addison's work. All right, Ava will have her. Then you check each other. Yeah. Let me see. Yes, you can go charge it on there. Guys, if you have one of the graphing calculators like Nina's holding or Arjun's holding, those will charge it back there now, so you don't even need the wires anymore. You can just slide them in the bay. Did the orange light come on the side facing you?
It doesn't have a port on the bottom.
It doesn't?
This is on the side.
No, these are those two. There's the pins on the bottom connect to it. Is that a good?
I'm not seeing anything.
Where does the light usually come on? Does yours not have a light?
Alright, I started.
Yep. Yeah, right? Because with the side of the triangle, you found side B, right? They should be exactly the same. So just talk over your work together or swap and do each other's. But you guys found the same answer. Do you feel more confident than independently you found the same thing? That's all we're trying to do here is make you guys feel comfortable with it. Now, Keanu, did you also get that answer? Yeah. So that's 3 sources of verification. It's not as bad as you guys probably thought it would be, right? All right, who wants to just talk over theirs really quick then? Addison or Ella? Rock, paper, scissors? Best of one. Tie. All right, Addison, you're explaining.
Oh, okay. So basically, you just start off by identifying the given angle and its side, which is 25 degrees over 12, minus 25 over 12. And then we have our unknown angle, well, it's our known angle, which is 60, so we kind of 60 over b, which is unknown. And then cross multiply, we have a denominator that isolates the variable, and we just divide it all.
Perfect. Thank you. Pod 6, who are you going to send up? I know pod 3. All right. Go ahead and erase the board and look forward to your work. I'm just going to peek ahead. Are you standing up for emotional support? Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
Are you gonna record every class? How do you have storage?
I think it has 1 terabyte. I just put on YouTube and delete it. And hope I don't lose my YouTube password.
Your YouTube comes up on my like recommended. It's really funny.
On your
I'll
recommended?
be like watching Kuli edits, and then I see like
What
simple like quiz. I use my like my normal account because I used to watch your videos.
Oh, I use my school.
Well,
Sometimes I don't want to pay for my
Howard's writing assignment with like 3 other guys is to try in 2 weeks to get more subs than my channel. He'll absolutely crush that, but it's a funny idea. All right, so Keanu's given us our exact answer of 12 sine 95 over 25, sine 25, and Alexa just put it to, what is our approximate answer? 28.28. All right, looks good to me. Any questions on setting these up or doing them? In your notes, just remember, if you're looking for an angle, this is where you guys are going to make your mistake. If you're looking for an angle, you're using inverse sine or second sine on the calculator. All right, so this is what Keanu was asking about earlier, and we're going to bring back some geometry vocab. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Did that just ruin the desk? Try the tissue there. See if that fixes it. Does anybody remember these words and what they mean?
I remember those, but I don't think so.
That's okay. It's been 3 years. All right. The included angle.
All of the pieces that Mr. Kinski signed are kind of confusing. So basically, when I finish all the videos, I did through it and tell them that I didn't know how to like figure out where the other places were because I really don't know where they are or what I'm supposed to be doing. But multitasking.
Maybe I won't upload this one. All right. So, right here, angle C is the included angle of AC and BC. Who was the last person that was called on by another student? Who's me? Corinne?
Alina called on me.
Huh?
Alina called on me.
Calling somebody else then to answer this question for me.
Yeah.
Keanu, I just want to make sure we see here that the included angle is the angle between two sides. So angle C is the included angle of AC and BC. What does this line segment and this line segment have in common? C. That means they touch at C. That's all I want you to know. Let's make sure that. Now, included side is the same thing, but now it's the side between two angles. So AB is the included side of angle A and angle B. And look, A to B, angle A, angle B. So when we're talking about this here, what you're going to hear me say, what you're going to see in your answers to your homework is stuff like here, this is the included side, right? Because it's stuck between two angles. So that means I would know this, this, and this, and I can solve for it. Stuff like that, okay?
But would that not like work for AAS?
Which one?
So like AAS because it's not in between the two sides. It doesn't.
Right, there's no included angle or side in that one. But I don't want to start talking about included angles and sides and you go, why is he saying this all of a sudden out of the blue? But yeah, stance has no included angle or side in that order. So it's fine. As soon as I find the clicker, we'll move on. Probably set next to the thing where the clicker goes. The law of cosine and side angle side. All right, last thing we have to conquer today is finding the area of an oblique triangle. You guys know that the area of a triangle is equal to 1/2 base times height, but we won't always have h. This is another way to go about it. These are three separate equations. Don't think these are all together one giant equation. Now in the bottom in black, I typed it the way I remember it. You're good, man. And that is, the y value will be the included angle of x and z. So that's always going to be the part embedded between the two sides. And that way you don't have to remember all three of these. You get just this one. And as long as you know what an included angle is, you're good to go. When I said to Damien we're going to do it the easier or lazier way, it's that we're not going to memorize all three of these formulas. We just need to know this always works as long as y is the included angle. On Thursday, the law of cosines is really long and it has 3 different versions plus 2 more if you want to start for... No, what you're hearing is instead of having to memorize 6, I'm going to show you one that works for all 6. I'm trying to cut down on how much stuff you guys have to memorize. Also, who started their flashcards? They're not mandatory. The bonus points flashcards that I published like a week and a half ago. So if everyone in the class does it, you guys get 2% on top of your final grade. So plus 2% to whatever your final grade is. And you get to use the flashcards on the final. That's only if every single person turns them in. If one person doesn't, then everyone gets plus 2% on their final grade for this quarter. So like if you have an 88, you're up to a 90. No. Like your quarter 3 grade. Like let's say you end the class with an 88.9. Oh yeah, you get to use the flashcards on the final exam. Like the final thing you do. The flashcards are everything you have to memorize so you can practice them. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. They're due right here. With the day you start presenting is the day you have to turn them in. I'll check them while you're presenting and give them back to you. The file is up on Canvas. Once we get through this, I'll talk about the writing assignment and the flashcards. Now, if only has turned in his flashcards and no one else does it, you 5% all the way down to 2%, depending on what percentage of the class turns it in. It slides downwards as more people turns it in.
Are there like topics that has no flashcards on Canvas?
I have a separate file that has just what you need. You don't have to hunt them down or anything. I'll show it to you.
Wait, so the files you can just copy it?
All I want you to do is copy them so you can practice them.
Do you want a paper or no?
Hmm?
Do you want a paper?
Yeah, I'll give you flashcards if you need them too. Let me go over them and then let me know if you need flashcards and I'll send you 100 of them to start. There's quite but hopefully I have them for everybody. About 200 to do. If you've memorized everything, it is, yeah. And a lot of this you'll need in Calc next year, but we'll go over.
I'll take the extra credit. That's the only reason.
That's why I'm trying to make this well worth it. Zarin, you sound like the guy I said keep tanking your grade on the unit circle so everyone else can build it up, even if you're going to get 100.
I'm gonna duel these flashcards, then forget them the day before.
That'll happen. So if you want, when we get to the review time, I'll hide yours somewhere safe in here.
The thing is, I don't feel like most people are gonna do them.
Raise your hand if you know you're going to turn in the flashcards. Like you absolutely are committed to it 100%. Raise your hand if you could easily be persuaded so you have them on the final. And raise your hand if it doesn't matter what happens in this world. If it's the last thing that you get to do, you'll never do the flashcards. So we have 2 that are saying absolutely not.
I think someone taxes on.
Back on. It will be done, go for it. But you don't have to. All right, let's look at one of these. All right, let's talk about what this knows in common language. Last, I can't remember. Was it you, Kiana? Who called on who last? Who was the last person to answer a question?
I called on Keanu.
Keanu, pick somebody to read. Anybody you want, sir. Huh? And I don't know. Class favorite. You get to read that for us. Corinne, read it for the class. So if we know the lengths of the 2 sides and the measure of their included angle, then we can multiply those together times the sine of the known angle and divide all of that by 2, and it'll give us the area of the triangle. So here I can see 102 degrees is between side B and side A, so it's the included angle. So I can substitute in here and I can say 90 times 52 times sine 102 multiplied by 1/2, which is the same as dividing by 2, will give me the area of that triangle. I believe there's 2 questions like this on your test. I will publish the review up there. And then I will publish the answer key along with it so you can check your work, since I don't collect the reviews anymore, so I can give you the answer keys. And then we'll start chapter 9 next week, and then we'll do presentations. The only downside is when we come back, that's when the tests will be. I know. So let me double. I think so. I gotta double check the calendar.
So what's stopping us from just doing H times C?
Finding the altitude if you want to do that instead. There's nothing actually stopping you, nothing at all. Yeah, if you want to draw an altitude and do it, go for it. You're just going to spend more time finding the altitude, bisecting everything, solving for the side, and then multiplying.
The extra 20 seconds it takes,
Yes.
which takes at just as long to calculate that.
You think so?
I've never had a calculator. Mine is constantly dead.
Well, we have these now for you. Go.
Like basic, like addition, subtraction. I'll just use the calculator for like the 4 functions. But that's it.
Oh, so you can just borrow one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping you from doing that at all. Yep, sorry, I'm just peeking ahead so I know about how much time we'll have to talk about everything. I'm going to look at our calendar to see if I'm right or wrong about the tests. Of which equation? Yeah, it is. That's all it is. Yeah. All right, your test will be next Thursday for this. All right, and this goes back to what Keanu asked earlier. This is what your test will look like. This is what your homework's going to look like. It's just going to give you 3 pieces of information, and you have to be able to draw the triangle properly and go from there. So I can see that I'm going to use A, B, and C to name my triangle. Angles are always capital, so let's knock those out. Now, opposite of C capital is C lowercase.
And that's 110 degrees.
Oh, thank you. Little b is opposite of big B. What's that going to be?
6. Oh, sorry, 10.
I started writing 6. Sorry, I threw you off. Yes. Say that one more time. Oh, I don't know why I wrote it there. Thank you. It goes at the angle. And then little b is 10 and little a is 6. Do I have an included angle here? Absolutely. 110. I know both side lengths that generate that angle. So all I have to do is multiply them together using 1/2 times the outside pieces times sine 110. Who said, oh, Corinne? I actually got Corinne in a positive moment here. So 1/2 times 10 times 6 times sine of 110. Six times 10 is 60. That divided by 2 is 30. So what is times sine 110? That'll give me the area of this triangle. What sine 110 is, I have no idea off the top of my head. It's positive, I can tell you that.
Whatever you think it is, Mr.
I wish it worked that way. That would be 120 though, right? So it's just slightly off of that. Did you do regular sine or inverse? No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just asking to make sure I didn't mix them up in your head. Wait, you don't need to be in the graph section. Second mode, sorry. That won't work. So now we're going to do 30 times sine 110. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's right.
I know she was right. I just wanted her to say, I'm not looking for an angle. Why would I use that? What did you get for your final answer here? That's where we'll stop there. All right. Yes. It would be, but you see here you put, that's in degrees, right? What mode is your calculator in? That's when, before you guys say, make sure we know we're going to pretty much be in degrees for all of these from now on. Chapter 6 is always going to be in degrees for us. All right. Oh. Try this one in your group together, and then we'll start talking about anything you guys want to talk about, writing assignment related, flashcards related. I'll show you the flashcards. There's 2 options. There's 2 ways. You can present it live in front of the class, or you can record it and we just play it. Now, I know it is, but here's my offer. If you record it and you just don't want to be in here, I'll give you a bathroom pass while it plays, and then you can come back after.
Okay, also, can you do the homework? The 6.1.
As soon as they answer this, I'm going to collect those while I put up the flashcards and stuff. Yep. So if you missed the deadline to turn in the notes, because this is an unconventional thing, I'm going to start collecting them after someone comes up and answers this.
Start collecting minutes for 6.1 and 6.2, or
Just 6.1. That would be super unfair to do 6.2 right now. 6.2, I'll do the beginning of class on Thursday.
Okay.
If you missed the deadline for 6.2, bring them to me before class starts on Thursday. You guys don't have to take the unit circle quiz anymore. And these presentations, as you can tell, are planned to 80 minutes instead of the full 90, so you can take the unit circle quiz. Corinne, did you already draw the triangle? No. Perfect. Pick somebody to come up and draw the triangle for us then. Keanu, you want to knock the whole thing out so we can move on? Walk us through it a little bit, and I'm going to put up the Canvas page so I can update the homework. If you have homework to turn in, go ahead and bring it up. But make sure you have 6.2 done before you come in on Thursday.
I also got 6.2.
I'll put them in for you. Just don't walk away yet. You're too fast. Yeah, 6.2 is up there. It's just due. This is 6.1 today. All right, sir, you're good to go.
So they're both 6-1? These are the ones today are both 6-1.
Yeah, that is that's literally the PowerPoint I put on the homework.
It kind of seems redundant.
Well, no, because I didn't want to go over the notes at all. I just wanted to solve problems. But since everyone didn't do it, we went ahead and went over the notes.
Why are the tennis ball in here?
Someone left it. That's today. Do you have 6.2? Well, you've already uploaded
Yeah,
it.
I don't.
You're good. Gotcha.
Also, I give you like so much to put in. You could 4.31. That was like so crazy. I don't know.
4.3.
I don't know. I think 2 and paper, and then.
Yeah, it was sitting right here. Let me find it for you, and I will. So you have today's, right? And then just do the 6.2 before you come in on Thursday. You're good with. I know you're good. Six one, and then Thursday 6.2, right? Perfect. Thank you. 6.1. You're good. Asking. I watched you copy. And then 6.2 on Thursday when you come in. Nina, you turned in 6.1 already.
Yeah, and 6.2.
Yeah, I'm just for the people that got a 0. Some people missed. If you missed the deadline, show them to me. If you didn't, I'll get them in for you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you're ahead of the curve, you're good. Perfect. And just bring me 6.2 before you come in. That's the next thing we're going to do. This quarter. You guys can friend. Go back and put you'll get a +5. You're saying 5,000 or more. Yeah. 5,000. For every 500 you get +5. Maximum of +5. And then those extras you can give out. This quarter. Let me put you.
Possibility of it being in the future.
I got a 500.
Speculatively, purely speculatively, I'm going to.
Like, I understand some people in class, but I'm not thinking
It's by no means guaranteed to happen, but it has to occur.
All right, guys, I'm in Student View. If you go to Student View, go to Modules. At the top of Modules, you have Here are the directions. Every single thing I want, yep. So you don't have to go hunt for anything but this, and you're good to go. So on the front of each card, you need to put the title because some of these look exactly the same. Like, how many times have we redefined sine of x? 4 different ways. So on the top, you'll write definition of trigonometric functions. Anything to the left of the, and I know you can't see this, but to the left of the equals is the front. So definitions of trigonometric functions, sine of x, or sine of theta, let's keep it theta, equals y on the back. So y on the back, sine of theta on the front, which is what we have right here in a larger format for you to see. Say it again. I don't care if you make the front or back. Yeah, I'll know it's the front when I see definitions of trig functions. So for this one, on the front I have definitions of trig functions, sine of theta equals, and then on the back I have y, and that's how I know. And then right here, this tells you front. I want you to ask yourself, what is the expression to convert degrees to radians? And you put that on the back. But after that, everything here, you write even and odd trigonometric functions, cosine of negative t on the front. Flip it over, you have cosine of t. And you do that for all of these. All of these. The left side, again, is the front of the flashcard. The right side is the back. Here, you're going to have to make 2 cards. So here I have sine of 30. I'm going to put equals 1/2. And sine of pi over 6 on another card equals 1/2. So these will double. Then you have these. These are the ones everyone keeps forgetting. This hurt you guys on the topic 5 test. And I told you these would be the ones that you were going to be. These are the ones you gave me. I just erased your cube. Then you have your reciprocal identity. So you need to write reciprocal identity, sine theta, and on the back 1 over cosecant. And go through all of those. All of these. Here, this one, I've heard it's confusing. You're not copying this in yellow. You're copying what I typed, leaving this blank so you know it's the definition of a reference angle, but that doesn't go on the front, that goes on the back. That's the only one that's reversed. Then you have your sum and differences. Then here it says draw sine over 1 period on the front. So you can quickly identify the graphs. That's sine theta on the back. This one is, oh, sorry, what am I actually looking at? Oh, sine. I did sine twice. Cosine, tangent, and then all of these. So there's a total of 161 to make. I'm going to give you guys 100 in just a second. If you want to know if you guys hit enough to have these on the notes, this tracks right here which block and what percentage you're at. One person in block 6 has turned them in, so they're 4.55% away, done, or towards getting flashcards on their final exam. You guys have it the easiest. You only have 16 people to have to turn it in, so you guys have the best chance of getting it done. All right, now let's look at the writing assignment, which I guess I can stop the video for that. Yeah. Well, no, the way I check them is a little easier.